Hi, welcome to the development of this group for 2022. My name is Cassius. I'll be talking to you today about some of these development projects. Before I can begin, I'm going to give you some bona fide about myself. Over the past few years, I have worked with a variety of groups ranging from Vortex Security, where I reached the rank of Colonel. This was on my old account, originally started as Bobbert6925, which I named and changed in about 2016 to Cassius Lincoln, which originally went to Simplicity. The user ID on this account was 9031221. I recently deactivated the account as of 2018 so I could take some time off and focus on school. I've currently been on indie design since I think about 2018. Um, During this time, I worked with multiple super clans like Alamo's USM and GMF's USM, and Vortex Security when it was originally owned by Just Go Away 1. I worked on projects like Vortex Security Recruitment Harbor and all of the war zones, including War on Water, I believe, was a big one for Alamo's USM, which got adopted by a lot of other groups, and I've also worked in Halo groups. Throughout the time, I've grown groups from small clans into super clans of about 100,000 members plus, found ways to create dying groups into more lucrative groups that were able to advertise and do other things, and helped create plans of action to help groups turn around with their leadership structure and development structure. I've overseen many development projects, and I'm going to go ahead and start here now. So we're currently looking at current models for most of these groups on Roblox, and their current models are outdated. They become training simulators with little to no actual activity. Their thumbnails are clickbait. You show up, you do nothing, you get trained, and there's never any action, for example. Additionally, with these groups, there's little to no civilian/non-group member engagement. These current models that have little to no engagement also hurts with recruitment and growing your group. Uh, I want you to take a moment and pause the video and think, how can you address this? And why should we address this? All right, welcome back. If you pause the video, you may have come up with some ideas regarding expansion and money as well on why this is important. We will talk in group later on about why this is important. Also, if you have any questions throughout this time, you can simply put them down in the comments and I should get back to them through commenting. Additionally, we want to look at the Roblox mission statement, which is something I'll be talking about for a lot. Powering imagination. It leaves things open for interpretation. That was a big reason a lot of people came to Roblox in the beginning. Things weren't very explicit. They were more implicit, meaning you can infer things. This brings excitement, engagement, and open interpretation to the scene. I think that's a big thing with these military groups these days. They lack this idea. And that's why people get bored with things very fast. Also, another thing I want to keep up is keep it stupid simple, and how we can talk about later on a future date adaptation to ideas and policy. This will not only help with member retention, but also helping streamline the pipeline for development, upgrading people in their ranks and promotions, and seeing professional development along the way. Something for activity, I want you to stop and pause the video, and you can discuss or think about other groups/games that you've liked in the past and why you liked them that were like really memorable. And what did they leave open things that let you have some type of interpretation or engagement? For me, it was Apocalypse Rising. Years ago when it came out in like 2016, maybe I think it was before that, 2014. I can't remember. Um, and there's never really a thing to do. It was just you're putting in a scenario, survive. Okay, well I can make a group, so I can go solo, I can do this. It's just never ending. Possibilities are never ending. Different weapons. I could build bases, do whatever. I could raid people. I could pretend I'm a good guy and actually be a bad guy, or vice versa. You know, there was no direct way to play, and that what's made the game entertaining and fun for millennia. They really followed the powering imagination statement while still having a direct thing you to do. Also, I want to say adapting to this mission statement. How are we going to focus on powering imagination? Really leaving things open for interpretation is going to be something we need to focus on and think about, and that can really help us get towards that. Also, I want to talk about here the creation of new products and appropriate investment. When I talk about this, I'm referring to investment in community, investment in our developers, retention of the community, and absorbing new members. Throughout the past, I've talked about things in investment in our community, whether we're running ads, the money we're bringing in towards that. Additionally, the investment in developers. How can we invest in our developers so we can get better developers or bring in people who can bring in new product to our group while still retaining the old ones? Also, I think it's important to retain our community. That means keeping them engaged, active, excited. I've talked to about some of the senior staff here about what I've done in the past to really keep community excited is I would give out leaks all the time about development projects. Some things were true, some things were false, so people were always excited. They didn't know what was coming, and I constantly pumped out products. And I'll actually talk about what products I was pumping out all the time that really kept group active. Additionally, with absorbing new members, I've talked about multiple strategies on how we can absorb new members. We can also absorb members from other clans. I was thinking E1 to E3 rank. They do their basic military training. They can come in and actually get their rank into this group. And now they have to leave their old group. Further, I want to talk about the hub. There's been a lot of excitement about the hub, and I'm going to focus on the 5 W's really quick. Who, what, when, where, and why. The who is simple. It's for our clan. What is it? The hub is like if you ever joined the game like Apocalypse Rising, there's different maps, different options, information, everything in one simple game. That'll be the only game listed on our page. When will it go up? The goal is to get a fully functional hub before December. It'll tell you your rank, group announcements. Let's say you have subdivision, special forces, XYZ. It'll say that in there. We can update this information very easily through a third-party API like Trello or Twitter, and it'll automatically get pumped in there through an API or a webhook I can build in. And we can set only certain people who are within certain groups can join or even see certain tiles, like certain maps. This will be obviously on our game page. There'll just be one game, the hub, whatever it's called. And to do this, it's important that we do this because it streamlines things, helps get information out fast, and puts it in one clear, concise manner. People don't have to wonder what's going on, where are people. They can just say, hey, they're at this game, and there's X amount of servers available, there's this amount of servers, and I can also see my friends or my commanders are playing exactly in this server. And as we talk about this and people come reach out to me, I'm going to give out information exactly what this hub can look like, and we're going to all figure out what exactly product do we want. I've also talked about automatic basic military training. This will take people who are new to the group, who are in the civilian rank. Once they complete this training, it's a solo server, so they don't have to interact with other people, but the AI, which will be other AI recruits, and their staff instructor, which is an AI. The purpose of this, who, is the new people coming in. What is it? As I just said, it's an automatic basic military training. This will hopefully be ready before December. It'll be through the hub. It'll automate people. We don't have to spend time and resources on educating new people. All the parameters and the things we want will be accomplished through this basic military training. And the best part about it is once they've completed all the parameters, we'll have a bot sitting around the E2, E3 rank. It'll be titled as bot. It'll have the powers to promote, and it'll be sitting between E2, E3. So no one can hack the bot and promote a bunch of random people. The bot will actually automatically promote members from civilian rank into the E1 or E2 rank, whatever we decide deems necessary, by predetermined constructs. I suggest the E1 rank, so then people coming new, we don't have to waste time on promoting people who may or may not be active in the group. They have done all the work of a staff who would train them normally. That'll all be automated. They'll have to answer the questions and do the tests at the end, do the marksmanship requirements, whatever they need. And that's how things will be. It'll make things a lot easier on managing a large influx of people. So when we get to E2, E3, E4, we can focus on more of the engaging, fun, interesting things like tactics, breaking them off into their smaller groups, cavalry, SOAR, stuff like that. Also the bases. The current models of bases are all outdated and obsolete. This is because people, like I said earlier, we're talking about training simulators. The new thing I'll actually be talking about in the next slide, I believe, will be much better. Not only bring retention of money, have the retention of staff members, and make it easier for staff. It'll boost activity, I want to say 5 to 10 fold. bring in a lot of money, and keep the group highly engaged. And that leads to the rise of scenarios. One of the first scenarios I'd like to discuss dropping is a embassy scenario where there is an unknown faction attacking the embassy. The U.S. Army, usually Marines, defend an embassy. The U.S. Army in the scenario will be defending the embassy, and they will be defending there. From there, I talked actually about a civilian faction that we could bring in that could be further involved with the group, could bring engagement. I'll get into specifics later in a later staff meeting. But what's going to happen here is basically we're going to have all these little scenarios. And you can raid these scenarios, which is fine, but these scenarios are only going to be around for a few weeks at a time, and then a new scenario comes in. Each scenario are going to have hidden Easter eggs and things hidden inside of it. And what I will be start to developing is a framework, cookie cutter framework. All the parts will be labeled appropriately, so all you have to do is put the framework in the appropriate places in server script storage, all those places. Put the items in, and you just put it in a map, and everything will work. And the UIs and everything, and it'll automatically work. You'll have to set up the spawns, obviously, and that scenario will work. And so you'll have these constantly new maps coming out, and maybe you'll have 10 to 20 maps. They'll only be available for a few weeks at a time. So it's like you're getting a brand new map, but you can use them year after year, make modifications, change the terrain a little if you want, set it to snowy, whatever you want, and it makes it as if there's something brand new all the time. And it really brings excitement. I've done this with a few groups, and it was extremely successful. It boosted our profits by, I want to say, 800%. We're able to run, you know, close to 1 million Robux worth of ads in a month just off of, profits we ran. And that doesn't include the costs of paying out developers and everything else. It was extremely successful. So like I said, scenarios, those will be through the hub as well. There'll be a description on the hub, what's going on, how many players, who's in the servers. Hopefully we can have our first scenario published before December. And I already talked about the why. And I believe that covers everything. This is just a sample of what we're doing. I'd like to use a lot of mesh models and brand new models. I have models from different groups I'd like to use and update, but mostly I'd like to create new content. Someone has discussed oh, I need my models from another group. I don't want to use those. I want to have new and original contents coming through. We do not need to use other people's groups' assets because we're better than them. Let's put it that way. I want us to really focus on powering imagination and keeping it stupid simple. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me at any time through Discord. My tag is Cassius5424 with a capital C. As usual, you should be able to find me in any scripts I've modified or coded myself. My tags usually are either at the beginning or at the end or both. I want to take the time to thank you guys for looking through this. I know it was just off the top of my head. I just did this in about 5 minutes, so there may be some information missing. Like I said, feel free to leave comments, and I will